I love it. I was just talking to Anita.
And I love your shirt.
Perfect. Came up great I have to redo it. I don't know why. I thought it was. Are you calling the chief to see if
Yeah.
it's on? I know she knows. What's up? Yeah.
Where you going?
Hey, where you guys going? She might be working back there. We're gonna delay the city council meeting for a couple of minutes so we can get.
That's the,
They're on their way.
that's the,
She said they're on their way.
yeah.
So, everybody, we're gonna delay the city council meeting for a few minutes. There was an incident at the poll, and the individuals that are being honored tonight are on their way. So we're gonna delay just for a few
Good,
minutes
that's helpful.
to allow them to come.
Give me time to come back.
We're waiting on this. Okay. See here. No problem. Hey, no problem. I will see. They snuck in.
You did. I want all of me in the world. Was a far from.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and call the regular meeting to order. Certify a quorum. We do have a quorum. We are missing two. I know Alderman Lawrenson is trying to get on the WebEx. Hopefully he'll get on. And of course, Mike is out traveling. So, all right, first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and do the prayer. So if everybody can please rise, we'll do the prayer and then pledge allegiance.
Let us pray. Dear God, as we gather here today, we humbly seek your guidance and wisdom, Father. Grant us clarity in our thoughts and understanding as we embark on this meeting. Help us to make decisions that align with will and bring about positive outcomes. These things we ask in the wonderful name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Into the flag, please.
Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, Linda, could you go ahead and please read the treasurer's report?
It's stapled to the back.
Whose microphone is echoing? Now, we gotta turn that off because we cannot hear, because every time we talk, it echoes. Can you turn the volume down? Thank you.
In the amount of $150,705.12. Payroll for May 23rd, 2025 is $267,237.83. We have two monthly bond payments totaling $44,380.62. Grand total payable checks, payroll, and bond payments $418,545.04.
Well done, Linda. Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report, minutes from the last council meeting, and payment of the bills? Motion by Reggie, second by Walter. Call the roll, please.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
All right, on first item for business is 3.1 is the proclamation for the Army's 250th anniversary. So I'm sure everybody knows in here that June 14th will be the Army's birthday, and so our next city council meeting will be after that date. So today we're going to go ahead and read the proclamation that we have done for the city. Now I will say tonight's reading is just a formality to read it to the city, but the actual presentation of the proclamation will be to General Beck and Command Sergeant Major Arzabala at the Friday the 13th Community Service Award ceremony that they're doing for the cities of St. Robert and Waynesville. And of course, I will talk about that later on, but that will be an invite for everybody, 9:30 at Lincoln Hall Auditorium. And so they're working through the gate issues so if you just have your ID, you should be able to get on, but they're still working that. So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to have Glenn read the proclamation to us. Then we'll go ahead and present it to General Beck on the 13th. So Glenn, please read the proclamation. I think we should, we can remain seated. You stand and speak though, please, Glenn, because we want to see your pretty face. But everybody else, please remain seated while we read the proclamation. Thank you.
Proclamation. Whereas the U.S. Army will celebrate its 250th birthday on June 14, 2025, commemorating the Army's distinguished service to our nation, and whereas the central theme for this year's celebration is "This Will Defend." And whereas "This Will Defend" was first used as a battle cry by the Continental Army, today it remains, or it reminds us that our Army's purpose is clear: to fight and win the nation's wars. We remain committed to honoring our warfighting skills, enforcing standards and discipline, and living the values that have defined our Army culture for the past 250 years. And whereas we enter 2025, the Army's 250th birthday, we will be celebrated with a series of commemorations including leadership, engagements, community outreach, events, and other events showcasing Army units, history, lineage, and esprit de corps. And whereas established on June 14, 1775, the Army is a year older than the United States itself. Since its establishment, Army soldiers, families, and civilians have supported our nation, bearing the true faith and allegiance to the country, the Constitution, their units, and fellow team members as they defend the nation and provide assistance in times of need, including disaster relief and recovery efforts. And whereas for 250 years, the U.S. Army has offered endless possibilities and opportunities for service to our nation. With over 200 career choices for soldiers and more than 500 career paths for civilians, Army possibilities are endless. The Army helps create a sense of purpose through personnel growth and professional development, empowering soldiers and civilian employees to be part of something greater than themselves and to be all they can be. Whereas for 250 years, soldiers have proudly served our country and protected its people, with our oath to support and defend the Constitution as our guiding principle, said Sergeant Major of the Army, Michael R. Weimer. We continue to stand ready to respond to the needs of the nation and to fight and win when called upon. This will defend. And therefore, we proclaim June 14, 2025 as the Army's 250th birthday in St. Robert, Missouri. I, James Breckenridge, Mayor of the City of St. Robert, proclaim June 14, 2025 as the Army's 250th birthday in St. Robert, Missouri, and commence its observance to all citizens.
That clap was a little bit harder for you because, one, you did a great job, and number two, you did a great job, Marine, reading the Army's proclamation. You were set up. No, I'm just joking. Great job, and thank you very much. You can lead us in the Army song later on, okay? There you go, you got it. And I'll sing the battle cry of the Marine Corps. All right, moving on. Thank you very much, Glenn. Appreciate that. And like I said, we'll present that to General Beck on the 13th, and everybody is welcome to attend that great President's ceremony. All right, moving on to 3.2, we'd like to go ahead and do our Employee of the Month recognition. Could I please have Christina Durbin and the Chief come forward? Not forward, in front, like, let's do it right here. That way we can kind of come over here forward. All right, so before I turn it over to the Chief, because I know he's going to have a few words to say about Christina, but I just want to personally say that reading the Facebook comments truly shows how much people love Christina and what she does for our city. Right, think about it, 16 years with us so far, 14 of those have been with the dispatch supervisor. But to see all the love and wonderful comments on Facebook just is a true testament of that we, and I say we, the committee who selected the Employee of the Month, because it is not my selection, it is our selection as the committee. We got it right. We got it right this month, and we just look forward to presenting Christina with this certificate here in a second. So, what are the perks of being the Employee of the Month? And Anita, if I forget anything, please let me know,
Yes,
because
sir.
you're my rock. You always keep me squared away. So the first thing is she's going to get a certificate signed by Anita and I that she gets to proudly hang in her office. Number 2, she's going to get a gift card, which I promise it's in my office. I will get that to you. A gift card to a local establishment, courtesy of me. She gets a free parking, or not free, but she gets a VIP parking spot for the entire month of June. And it's already June 2nd, so we owe you a couple extra days. Of course, the Facebook recognition was a huge hit. I mean, that was awesome. And what did I miss? That's it. That's what she gets as the Employee of the Month.
8 days off, 8
Oh,
hours off.
And she gets a day off, 8 hours off at the discretion of the chief. I learned that in the military, at the discretion of the chief. But yes, she gets all of that, plus recognized tonight in front of the city council, which is very appropriate for our city employees who do so much for us, and we cannot thank each and every one of them that does something. So Chief, the floor is now yours before we do the official presentation.
Thank
Please.
you, Mayor Breckenridge. Yes, it has been quite an honor, and 16 years ago when we got her, I knew we were getting an experienced dispatcher. We got her from county, and we heard her on the radio. We knew what we were getting. I did not have any idea, because we already had a dispatch supervisor at the time, that she would be thrust into that role that quickly. And I had to make a decision, and I know, undoubtedly, I made the correct decision. Every job back there is stressful. Some of them are more stressful than others. She happens to be in one of the more stressful than others category, and she handles it, makes it look easy. The amount of dispatchers that she has trained over these last 14, 16 years is incredible. They're not just with us, they're spread out through Pulaski County. We even have them in Phelps County. So her footprint is wide in the telecommunications, or I should say the emergency telecommunications industry, and we couldn't be luckier to have her. And on a side note, I've not only got to watch her grow as a dispatcher, as an employee for the city of St. Robert, I got to watch her be married and become a wonderful wife. I got to watch her have 2 wonderful children who we didn't think was going to happen, so we all prayed, and we were very fortunate that she's had 2 wonderful children. And so I think more so than any of that other stuff making my job easier is to watch such a fine person grow and develop. And it's been a real honor, Christina, and I couldn't be happier, and you deserve this.
One of the common themes I was reading on all the Facebook posts was about the thankless job that a dispatcher is. And it kind of made me reminisce a little bit about my days on patrol, especially this one particular time where I had pulled over someone who was wanted for murder. And if it wasn't for the dispatcher being so calm, I think I probably would have freaked out. And so I have a special place in my heart for dispatchers because they're the calm under the pressure when the officer is stressed out and there's a lot going on. So I can definitely understand what she, what she affects on the other end. Tonight, Christina is joined by her sister, so thank you very much for coming. That's awesome. And so now I'd like to go ahead and officially read the certificate. So it's Employee of the Month for June of 2025. Congratulations to Christina Durbin, recognized for your outstanding performance and dedication. And this certificate is good for 8 hours of vacation. We need to add it to discretion of the supervisor here. Good for 1 year. It has an expiration date. Signed by me and Anita. So congratulations, Christina. Thank you very much. All right, now it's your turn to say a few words to everybody. So the floor is yours.
Oh gosh. I don't know what to say. I wouldn't be anywhere without Chief or Lieutenant. They are the most amazing supervisors to work under. When he says that I make his job easy, he makes mine, and so does the lieutenant with everything that we have to go through. If I ever need anything, they're always there. I don't know. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, always great recognizing excellence. Chief, are you leaving?
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, make sure I get your gift card to you before I leave. It's in my office. Okay, the next item up, before I get to 3.3, just want to quickly do a shout out. Tim is without his team from Waynesville. Today, they're all, what are they on, summer break or something? What are we letting these kids do these days, right? So you're here all by yourself, so thank you very much for you to continue doing that, so, as always. All right, moving on to the important business, 3.3. This is an ordinance approving appointments to the St. Robert Planning and Zoning Commission. Anita, you can go ahead and quickly brief everybody on this.
These are for 4-year terms. They have served, well, some of them have been with us forever, but Mr. Abear, he's now chairman and has been for years of planning and zoning. Teddy Ross and Rocco Long, their terms were up and they need to be reappointed, and it's a 4-year term.
All right, any questions from the city council members? All right, thank you very much. Carrie, can you read it as a bill, please?
Bill number 25-054, an ordinance approving appointments to the St. Robert Planning and Zoning Commission.
All right, can I get a motion? Motion by Glenn, seconded by Michael. Clarification, discussion, call the roll, please.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Charles?
Yes.
Second reading as a bill, please.
Bill number 25-054, an ordinance approving appointments to the St. Robert Planning and Zoning Commission.
All right, can I get a first motion? Motion by Reggie, second by Linda. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
All right, third reading as an ordinance, please, Carrie.
Ordinance number 4164, an ordinance approving appointments to the St. Robert Planning and Zoning Commission.
Can I get a first motion on the ordinance? Motion by Glenn, second by Reggie. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Charles?
Yes.
All right. Moving on to 3.4. This is a resolution to the Board of Aldermen to the City of St. Robert, Missouri, approving the appointment of an advisor and alternate advisor to the Interstate Plaza Northtown Village Transportation District. Anita, I'll go ahead and update this one since I was involved in this at the last meeting. So for the city council members and for everybody here, so what this is going to do is it's step one of getting us more involved in the TDD. Okay, and so there's a couple of things that we have to do. And first, anything you have to do, you have to motion the judge and get lawyer fees and all that other stuff. And we need to get a project done, identified, and we also need to increase the board members from 5 to 7. So we're not going to do them individually because it costs a lot of money. So we're going to wait to do both of them at the same time. So in the interim, this ordinance is going to appoint me as a board advisor and Anita as an alternate advisor for when I cannot be there onto the TDD board. Once we get the project identified, whatever is going to be done next in the St. Robert Boulevard area, then we will do both of those things together and we'll move forward with that. So, okay. Did I get it right, Anita?
Yes, sir.
Good. Any questions? All right, perfect. Can we go ahead and get the first reading of the resolution? And this requires only one reading because it's just a resolution, not an ordinance. So Carrie, can you do the first reading of the
Resolution number 25-01, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen of the City of St. Robert, Missouri, approving the appointment of an advisor and an alternate advisor to the Interstate Plaza Northtown Village Transportation Development District.
All right, can I get the first motion? Motion by Michael, seconded by Walter. Clarification, discussion, call the roll, please.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda? Charles?
Yes.
All right, moving on. 3.5, this is an ordinance repealing city code sections 200.238 .240, .241, .242, and .245, and repealing the ordinances or parts of ordinances containing the language that created the said city code section. And Chief, I think, is this your area?
Well, it could be a combination, but I think I can kind of explain it.
Yeah, we'll let you go first, and then Carrie and Tice can back you up however.
Basically, what this is wiping out the unlawful use ordinance, some of the weapons ordinances for the city of St. Cloud. The reason for that is the state changed their verbiage on a bunch of stuff, and obviously some of the laws, it was August 23 that those were kicked into effect. So basically, these laws, because of the wording, are no good anymore, and our alternative is to utilize the state court. So typically speaking, unlawful use of force, but it can be a felony, but it can also be a misdemeanor depending on which section you have violated. So what we will do now is the officers, instead of writing a summons for city court, municipal court, they will write a summons for state charges. And if it's a felony and it needs to go up to that, then we will do a 24-hour hold and we will write a probable cause statement. But typically speaking, unlawful use, it will often be associated with another charge, and those charges are usually felonies. So, like I said, it gives us an option of writing something municipal, or I should say misdemeanor or felony, but we will do that in state court from now on.
Since the state code codifies everything that we had, we're just going to utilize that.
Change as the city, we can't go above what the state says. We could rewrite it. The only thing we could change really is where people would be allowed to carry steel guns.
Like where in a building, like
Where, and
I,
like for
okay,
instance
gotcha.
here, I think this building's already covered under state, but like if you guys wanted to do something else, outside of those buildings that are covered, then we would probably need to do it, but I didn't see anything to where it's gonna hinder us, being able to take care of things that we need to provide public safety.
The way you briefed me was really, this is just to get us in line with state code.
It is.
Since
It is.
state
Instead
code is
of
our
having
foundation.
them just rewrite it word for word,
Yeah.
like I said, and the way our court system pretty much is now is the major stuff is going to state court, and our more lower ordinances, simple stealing, traffic kind of things, that's what's going to
Okay.
the municipal section.
Before I turn over to city council for questions, do you have anything to add, Tice, Carrie?
Well,
Chief, don't go nowhere. I have questions for you.
we've taken a little bit different tack on our traffic tickets and our some of our shoplifting things. The ones that are more severe, we are taking to the state rather than pleading them down or something. I just think it makes it safer. So we are sending a lot more cases back to the chief to go ahead and file with the state, simply because they're more egregious type of cases that we think need a more extensive punishment.
Okay.
Well, and the process with this, she was right, it started with, we were looking at a specific section that was definitely out of sync with changes that they made at the state level.
Right.
And when I talked to Tice, we really aren't supposed to be writing laws for misdemeanors and felonies. That's already codified in the state.
Correct.
And so when we were looking at, I think it was 238, I can't remember. But all of these sections have felonies and misdemeanors in our code section. They really shouldn't be there. We can do ordinance violations. We can make law for ordinance violations as a municipality, but the rest of that's already codified, so we don't need to.
Yeah.
And then we're not having to have this headache of trying to keep track of when they amend it at the state level. We can just go to the state statute.
Yep, easy.
and get out.
Perfect. Thanks, Carrie, for that. Any questions for the council members?
So real quick, Chief, so I have a better understanding.
Yes, sir.
What you're saying is if somebody pulls a weapon out and commits what is considered a felony, murder, whatever the case may be.
Yes, sir.
So that's considered unlawful use of a weapon?
Well, parts of it would be unlawful
Yes.
use, correct. Especially if
Here's
they
my
were
question.
in a drug or if they were intoxicated.
Sure. But in a self-defense case, is this law, this change going to affect anything?
No, sir, it would still go to the state court.
Okay.
I mean.
It goes to Judge Thomas
Yeah,
instead of
and
Tice.
that's right. I mean, even in a self-defense case, we're not the ones that make that determination.
Right.
So we would still write it up and send it to the prosecuting attorney, who would look at it, and then he would make that determination.
And then the egregious crimes that you said, Tice, or something about shoplifting, or what do you consider egregious crime that we're sending to the state? I guess
No, he's saying that the shoplifting goes to the municipal.
Okay.
The lesser petty crimes.
So
go
we're
to-
tackling all the petty stuff, and
Yes.
sending the major stuff to the state.
Correct.
We've had people doing 90 and a 45.
Sure.
We have people that are blowing 3.5, 3 point where they should be unconscious on alcohol and driving. I mean, city ordinances violations are not made for those kind of offenders. They need to be off the street, and our people are they're giving a lot of tickets out. I mean, our people are really enforcing this. But if it's something that looks like we need these people to be punished more than I can punish them as a city ordinance violation, to teach them a lesson, you know, some of these people are stealing $2.50 worth of stuff at Walmart.
Right.
Okay. But we've got people that $450 in clothes that they buried underneath their clothing. And when they start getting over $100 or $200 worth of clothing or something, then we send them on up. It's just a matter of the severity of the case and the way I judge it. If I think it's something that we need to punish them more, then we send them up.
So basically, you kind of have a dollar value cap on how much is stolen before you decide whether it goes to state or we keep it here?
Well, the difference between an ordinance violation and a misdemeanor is quite extensive.
Sure.
One does not impact much of your criminal record, which is the ordinance violation. A misdemeanor actually becomes part of your criminal record. And actually, the way things are on post now and the way the feds are, a misdemeanor conviction, if you want to get on post or do something out there, can be very egregious to you as harmful and punishment. So it's a matter of discretion with Carrie and I, which one of us is doing it. If we think it's somebody that needs to be punished more severely, we send them back to the chief and take it on up.
Good, Glenn?
Yes.
For Reggie, Walter, excuse me.
Yeah, my example would have been if a person shoplifts something and somebody tried to stop them on the way out, they punch out someone really bad.
Chief Tice should send that one back.
Yeah.
Well, you might not even have to send that one back.
There are
That would be
organized-
shoplifting with an assault.
Right.
That would
Okay.
probably, yeah.
There are organized groups of people that are just raiding Walmart. And so we are having trials and our minimum fine on most of those usually is $400. And we're trying to work with Walmart, their security people, they provide us, and we've been going to trial on them and convicting them. So if they want a trial or a plea, but we're doing the best we can. And what Walmart's doing is, if they've been caught once, they put them on as trespass. And they bar them from Walmart, and now they hit them with a trespass, and they can't come back in.
And then if they go back again, we get them with burglary.
Great, any more questions?
And how many of those cases have you had where you had a second time?
Oh, so I think, I want to say we probably one of the first in the state to do that. Because it was just simple shoplifting, and they didn't worry about it. They got a small bond, and they were out back again stealing. So we figured out that we could charge them with burglary
I know.
because they were already trespassed, so they had no business being there. So it's worked out very well for us.
And does that kind of
Yes, sir, it helps.
deviate them for the third time or fourth time?
Well, yeah, because a lot of them end up going to prison.
Okay, I guess that's what I didn't understand,
Yeah.
where it led after the second time. Okay, now that paints a more clear picture too.
Good.
Sorry.
No, you're good. That's all good questions. Anybody else? Chief, thank you very much. Tice, Carrie, thank you. Appreciate that. It's a lot. And this is definitely all overdue. All right, Carrie, can you do first reading as a bill, please?
Bill number 25-055, an ordinance repealing city code sections 200.238, .240, .241, .242, and .245, and repealing the ordinances or part of ordinances containing the language that created the said city code section.
First motion, please, by Charles, second motion by not Michael Hanks, Michael Myers. Hank's not even here. Clarification, discussion, call the roll, please.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Yes. Charles.
Yes.
Second reading as a bill, please.
Bill number 25-055, an ordinance repealing city code sections 200.238, .240, .241, .242, and .245, and repealing the ordinances or part of ordinances containing the language that created the said city code sections.
Perfect, can I get a motion? Motion by Reggie, second by Walter. Clarification, discussion, call the roll, please.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter. Walter.
Yes.
He forgot who he was.
Remind me of my teacher in school.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Yes. Charles.
Yes.
Third reading is an ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4165, an ordinance repealing city code sections 200.238, .240, .241, .242, and .245, repealing the ordinances or part of ordinances containing the language that created the said city code sections.
Can I get a motion? Motion by Glenn, second by Linda. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Yes. Charles.
Yes.
All right, moving on to 3.6. This is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a 2025 John Deere Model 335P skid steer compact truck and loader with a bucket from Martin Equipment. And this was a budgeted item according to Frederica, so that question is already answered. Anything else you want to add, Anita? Oh, Steve's here. Steve, you want to come on up and we might have some questions. Or do you have anything first you want to talk about this equipment, and then I'll turn it over to city council for questions?
I did supply kind of a breakdown sheet, if anybody got that.
It's in the packet.
Shows you all three bids, the pricing, what was included, warranty, horsepower. I try to break it down as much as I can, so you guys can sit through all of the specs.
Yeah, we appreciate that, because it definitely lays out, you know, more horsepower, lot better warranty, and
And it does have the
smart grade technology, yeah, which is important. The other two did not have that, so, no, that's a great layout, definitely, really helped me understand the difference between the different bids, so. Any questions from the city council members?
The old one, Steve, are you gonna keep that as a standby?
Well, it's not really a standby, we have so much work for a skid steer that we'll be utilizing both.
Use both. Okay. Thank you, sir.
How old is the oldest one?
It is a 2018.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Well, what I appreciate is having it already approved on the budget. I like that you put it on the budget, this is what I want to get, and there's no questions in when it comes time to buying it.
Yeah, we appreciate the Wage and Finance Committee for identifying that and making sure, because that is definitely the first question everybody asks, is it on the budget? And so it was, so that's the way it's supposed to be, so awesome, thanks. Anybody else? Thanks, Steve. All right, Carrie, can I get the first reading as a bill, please?
Bill number 25-056, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a 2025 John Deere Model 335P skid steer compact track loader and bucket from Martin Equipment.
All right, can I get a motion on the bill? Motion by Reggie, second by Glenn. Yeah, Glenn. Clarification, discussion, call roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda. Yeah, I just want to know how much it will be without the bucket. I'm just. Yes.
I will add that all three of them did have the bulletproof glass on the front that's required for our brush cutting equipment. So,
And Charles. That's when he read it, he said with bucket. I said, oh, wow.
That's important. Second reading as a bill, please.
Bill number 25-056, An ordinance authorizing the purchase of a 2025 John Deere Model 335P skid steer compact track loader and bucket from Martin Equipment.
Can I get a motion? A motion by Michael, seconded by Walter. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Third reading is an ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4166, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a 2025 John Deere Model 335P skid steer compact track loader and bucket from Martin Equipment.
Motion.
Motion by Charles, seconded by Glenn. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Charles?
Yes.
That was the last one, yeah. Okay. 3.7, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute authorization 2B between the city of Waynesville and the city of St. Robert and Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company. Anita, help me out on this one,
This
please.
is for, Mayor, this is for professional services during construction. It would be like for the karst mitigation, site, civil work, FAA paving, all of them have standards. And it'd be stuff we wouldn't understand, so you have to hire a professional engineer to do services for you during the construction.
Was the city of Waynesville required to do an ordinance too?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
each of us will.
Okay.
So both cities will be using the same person, is that what you're saying?
And then the mayor will sign his, and then I'll send it over, or somebody will, and the mayor will sign, the Waynesville mayor will sign ours, so we'll have one. And then there is a program called DocuSign for the government, and so there's a list that everybody goes down. It goes to the mayors, they sign, then it goes to the administrators, and then it goes to the attorneys to sign off on.
And just one more time, just in layman terms, what really is, why
Do
would you?
what?
In layman terms, just kind of tone it down, what are they doing for us again? Why don't we?
They're doing all of the site observation, everything that's required by the FAA. And it's all
Oh, the
engineering.
airport.
services.
It's by the airport. I got it. I've finally heard that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's not the cities that
yeah,
are
that's
required,
what,
it's all
I
by.
heard FAA now.
Right, it's all, you know, we got all this
Sure.
grant money, so it's having to meet those grant
Yeah.
requirements.
This 2B annex, they take care of all that stuff. We don't have to worry about it. They're the specialist in it, and they deal with all the observations and the sites and all that other stuff. Yeah. You excelled at the beginning, and it's like move downhill from there. Okay, any other questions before we move on? Okay, Carrie, can we get it? First reading as a bill, please?
Bill number 25-057, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute authorization number 2B between the city of Waynesville, the city of St. Robert, and Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company Incorporated.
All right, can I get first motion on the reading of the bill? Motion by Reggie, second by Linda. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Second reading as a bill, please.
Bill number 25-057, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute authorization number 2B between the city of Waynesville, the city of St. Robert, and Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company Incorporated.
All right, can I get the first motion on the second reading of the bill? Michael, second by Walter. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Charles?
Yes.
All right, third reading as an ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 4167, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute authorization number 2B between the city of Waynesville, the city of St. Robert, and Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company Incorporated.
First reading as an ordinance. Charles, second by Michael. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
All right, moving on to 3.8, this is an ordinance authorizing an agreement for monthly payments on account at the St. Robert Transfer Station, which is B&E Tree Service and Debris Removal. Owner is Billy Knoll. All right, any questions? I think this is pretty simple. Any questions? All right, Carrie, first reading as a bill, please.
Bill number 25-058, an ordinance authorizing agreement for monthly payment on account at the St. Robert Transfer Station.
first motion as a bill. Charles, Glenn and Michael. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn. Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Charles.
Abstain.
Second reading as a bill.
Bill number 25-058, an ordinance authorizing agreement for monthly payment on account at the St. Robert Transfer Station.
All right, can I get a first motion on the second reading? Walter, seconded by Linda, actually, I heard first. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Charles.
Abstain.
Third reading is an ordinance.
Ordinance number 4168, an ordinance authorizing agreement for monthly payment on account at the St. Robert Transfer Station.
All right, can I get a first motion as an ordinance? Motion by Reggie, second by Michael. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Linda.
Yes.
Charles.
Abstain.
All right, moving on. Comments by the aldermen. I'm gonna start on my right-hand side this time with Charles first. How are you? What you got first? Put you on the spot first.
Well, I got a citizen that complained about paying $10 to use the softball field. Just for her son to play catch with the father or whatever. And I don't think that's appropriate to charge the citizen $10 just to play catch. So does anybody have, I guess anybody from youth sports league?
So yeah, with the parks, I know we put the gates on to vandalism, limit vandalism, things like that. Yeah, I haven't got the actual, I haven't heard anything about that direct issue of why we're not, but we can definitely look at that.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it's an inconvenience for, you know, a family to pay $10 just to play catch on the baseball field. So I thought I might address that.
Yeah, Travis, I would ask that the Parks and Recreation Committee be brought into this first so they can go through the discussion, work through all this, so that way we're not, you know, making sausage here at the city
Right.
council meeting.
Oh, well, at the swimming pool, right there. That's where, she asked me, well, I mean, apparently the individual was approached by someone that was in youth sports and, you know, was told.
Usually
It would be in the park, not youth sports.
Yeah, they control the actual
Yeah,
management.
yeah, it would be at the swimming pool, so I guess Charles would be the person to answer that question.
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and
Yep,
Recreation.
yep.
So are you saying you have gates on those parks?
Yeah, they all got put in.
Yes.
Well, and I can understand, because even though this is a young child with a parent wanting to go pitch a ball, you could have people that want to go in there and cause damage too, so, I mean, I can understand why they want to control it a little bit.
Well, you know, it's not the control, it's the charging the citizen $10 just to play catch.
We can look at the fees, but there's a fee to use everything we have. Pavilion rentals, there's a
Yeah.
fee for that. Now, they can use them for free because they're not blocked off, but if somebody has it rented, and those people that don't have it rented will have to leave. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah, I
community
get
center,
that.
there's fees for everything, including the baseball field, but the park committee could look at that, could look at the fees. I know we have teams wanting to use it as well. So,
Well, I
it's something
understand
we need to look at.
organizations having to pay, you know, but, you know, just for a citizen paying catch with his son, if the field is not occupied, then they should be able to, you know, play catch with their kids, you know. The only other thing I wanted to mention, Mayor, was the committee for the development yard of the month and stuff like that, set a date this week or next week for the councilmen to come in and we could meet and
Good.
put this thing together and get it started.
Awesome, what date is that?
What date is good for the council to come in? How about
We
you?
have a committee meeting at 4:00.
That'd be a good day to do it. That'd be a good day to do it, same day.
Do what?
That would be a good day to meet on the 10th at 4 p.m. or five after that committee.
Well, we have an emergency services meeting on the 10th at 4 o'clock.
Okay, so if we met at 5 after the meeting, that would be good, Mayor.
And those people on the committee know who they are?
Well, the councilmen have to come in, and then we can put together,
Well, the Emergency Services Committee is only an individual, so if you're looking for specific folks to be on your committee to identify yard of the month and stuff, we just need to identify who those folks are, whether they're volunteers or voluntold, you know,
Yeah,
type
volunteers.
thing. And so I just think we can talk to the aldermen and city council members, figure out who wants to be on this committee to go out there and grade, you know, the yards, and so we can get the yard of the month identified, so.
okay.
Yeah, because I don't know if we want to tie it in with the emergency services, because only a select few folks come. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was saying, you know, well, I'm on the emergency management committee. I was saying the other members that are not can come after.
Sure.
And
After the emergency
Okay, I
service, after
understand
the
what you're
emergency,
saying.
he
Okay.
said come after emergency service.
All right, so we'll set that committee for 5 o'clock then. Charles, get with Anita afterwards so we can set that up, and so that way we can get that committee going.
All right.
Because, I mean, we're already June, 3rd, and we want to get that done. Even if it's a short selection, we still want to select a yard of the month in each ward. Yeah.
So we just gonna change to say 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Anything else?
That's all.
All right, great, thanks. Linda?
No, the only thing is just because Mr. Adair reminded me the chimney district, chimney people are having their dinner on the 9th.
The Historical Preservation.
Historical Society, that's what it is. Yeah,
Of August.
that's
9th of
because,
August.
9th of August, yep.
At 6 p.m. And the tickets are $30.
Okay, anything else on that?
don't think so.
All right, Reggie?
Just want to thank everyone here in the council and the city employees for all you guys' prayers for I told you about my nephew who was in the hospital at 17 and his heart was bad and he couldn't go home. Well, he stayed in the hospital been up there like 3 or 4 months and he couldn't go home because they had to keep him on the defibrillator to keep him alive. He had to stay alive in the hospital. He couldn't go home. They had to keep him alive until they find a heart to transplant. 2 weeks ago, I called Walter and told him about it. They called on a Saturday and said they had a heart and they had to do surgery that Sunday. And because they had the heart. And so me and the wife went up to St. Louis to the hospital where he was. And I never knew about a heart transplant. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. From the time they take their old heart out and put the new heart in, that was like a 20-hour nonstop surgery. It was like 20 hours. But technology has advanced so far until all the families, they have a different website, like a little code they give you for your cell phone, and the family members can watch everything that goes on in that surgery, watch the doctors operating, watch them open them up and everything. Wow. From that site that they give you.
Did you watch it?
I watched some of it.
And then you passed out, right?
Yeah. But I just wanted to share that with everyone here, because everyone here, I know they said a prayer for.
So he's doing okay?
Yeah, right now, he's still in the hospital because, it takes time.
Rejection.
Yeah, rejection and all that, but.
But his body is seeming to take.
Yeah, his body seems to be taking, he's still in the hospital now and they're taking all the medications and all of that. But I just wanted to share that with everyone, and when they told me about the surgery and I went up there, I had no clue it's gonna be like 20 hours straight through.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, we will continue saying prayers for you,
Yes.
for you and your family, and I hope that everything continues to go well, so thank you very much for sharing that. Anything else, Reggie?
No, that was it.
Awesome, thank you. Walter?
Yeah, well, I was gonna talk about that, and Reggie, was the man to talk about that. I was gonna share that with the, council and the public. But when I look back there at my old, compadre back there, I think about the students he brings here. and how they learned. And I've been in his class and right next door to mine, and I just want to encourage everyone to take an interest in the children and their schooling, and just, you never know who you might be encouraging things. Now, with Michael, I think, but out of that grew a lot of love, so I appreciate the opportunity, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, and we will give you credit for Michael. Michael?
You're not coming up.
You're gonna blame it all on Walter?
Yeah.
No, okay, awesome, thanks. Glenn?
Yeah, I just had one thing for now. I'm still a little fuzzy on ordinance 17-159 that Renita sent out from our last meeting in regards to aldermen being notified or city council members being notified of committee meetings.
Okay.
So maybe somebody can give me a little more clear insight. It says in paragraph D, any member of the board of aldermen of the city of St. Robert who attends a committee meeting is allowed to become an alternate committee member and vote and approve on the issues presented to the committee in the absence of a member of the committee in order to provide a quorum. So my question is should we still be notified to show up just in case that happens, or do you call when somebody doesn't show up so you get a vote?
Well, I will say, what I want to do is Anita's gonna email all the aldermen whenever there's a committee meeting. We're just gonna let everybody know. We're not gonna we're gonna just keep the transparency clean and open. But what's happened in the past is the chair of the committee will make sure that they have a quorum before they form the committee. Because that committee is specifically designed to do that, right? And so we've never had a problem of not having enough members to pass anything. So I don't know why this keeps coming up, but it doesn't matter. What's important is communication and transparency, and we're just gonna email all the aldermen of when the city council members are. Yes, Tice?
Well, you've got to watch your committee meetings because of your Sunshine Act stuff.
They're not voting members, though. They're not voting members, Tice.
I mean, if you get a quorum of the council in
If you
one
get a
place,
quorum of the
now you
council
have a
for a
council.
meeting,
That's why we quit that.
Oh, I see what you're saying, you can't have
Then
a
you've
whole
got it.
quorum there.
Yeah, you can have.
then you've got, well, it's a matter if you keep, do you keep close minutes? If you do close minutes and you keep careful minutes at your committee meetings, then I'm not so worried about the Sunshine Act and the quorum.
Yeah.
But realize that communications between you, emails, all of that spread out and everything, except for some exceptions,
Right.
are subject to the Sunshine Act requests and production sometimes. And you just have to watch things a little bit. But if you have committee meetings and you keep good minutes, I don't care then.
Yeah, they do good notes and stuff like that. And I understand that if every alderman shows up to a committee, now it's a city council meeting. So I definitely understand that piece, and we'll have to figure a way to not do that.
It's a non-scheduled council meeting, actually.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We want to keep it as a committee meeting, and that's what it's for, so, yes.
Why don't we, I think, listen to what Tice is saying there, we need to, keep it to the committee meeting members that we have, and, then the other council members, you can send it to them, they can show up, knowing they are not a voting member unless.
We don't have enough.
Unless we
Yeah,
don't have
enough, right.
Which most of the time, they always do. Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah, sure.
I would just leave it with the committee members, and I'll get all the email addresses of all the councilmen and I will send the committee men on my committee. I don't know what the rest of them are gonna do, But on my committee, I will send all my committee members an email and say, are you going to show up for the meeting? And if all of them are, then nobody else needs to come. But if somebody says, no, I can't make it, then it would be my responsibility to make sure that somebody else is there to cover them for that, to make it a quorum.
And that's a great point, Lynn, and I think with what your idea, taking that and just transferring it to Anita, because really, if you say you're gonna do it for your committee, but there's other committees that may not wanna
Can
do
I
it,
say
so.
something real quick? That man saved my life last week before last. He was the one that got me in the ambulance when I had my accident. Congrats, yeah, he was good. I said, he looked familiar.
Awesome.
But anyway, I heard Ty say, or somebody said something about the committee chairperson is responsible for assuring the quorum. Who said that? Somebody did.
No, I was saying that in the past, the chair has always done that. They
Yeah,
make
well,
sure,
maybe that,
with Anita's support, to make
maybe
sure
that's
that
what
there's a
needs to
committee.
happen.
Okay.
Well,
And
maybe
then,
we need to get your idea like the mayor said to Anita to do.
Yeah,
Find
and that way
out.
she can do it for all the committees.
All the committees.
Yeah, so all committees are treated equal and fair, and then to make sure if we don't have a quorum, then we can request more folks.
okay,
Okay?
And with that, Mayor, real
Sure.
quick, I just want to clear the air.
Thanks, Rob.
I mean, it's not about showing up and voting.
We know that.
What this mitigates is long city council meetings with bombarded questions that we could ask at committee meetings. That's all I'm seeking out. If we show up and just ask questions, and we know what's going on, then we don't bring it here, you know, we're not sitting
but
here.
then, but like Ty said, if you have all of us there, that constitutes a city council meeting, an unannounced city council meeting. And that's
Then
not
how do we
always,
share the information, because it's not getting shared, that's the whole point.
well,
Well, at
we
the-
share it
we don't
with,
have an
at the
answer.
council
but
meeting.
at the council meeting,
But then we ask questions at the council meeting.
Yeah.
and that's the way it
That's
should
what it's-
work.
that's what it's
That's the
for.
way
I
it should work.
understood, I was told and understood that meetings need to be, questions should be answered prior to the meeting.
No, that's
No,
not
no.
true.
Now,
That is why I make a concerted effort to let the city council members ask their questions, because if you go to all the committees, let's say you go to all of them and you know everything behind it, you don't ask no questions, the questions that you might have had, Walter might need that question, right? Because he might not ask it or might not think of it. So it's good dialogue to have for questions, and we are open to let it happen, so.
And not only that, it lets people out there know what's going on instead of us just coming here and saying, we discussed this in the finance meeting
Yep, and
and,
approve it
okay,
and
we
move out.
approve it.
Yep, no, absolutely, that's a
There's a
great point.
discussion to let people know what we're talking about.
That's a great point.
Mayor, as long as the committee, it stays on the committee's subjects.
Yes,
And doesn't stray,
correct.
and you keep good minutes.
Fred does.
Then you're fine. It's when you start talking about other topics
Yep.
and you
That
have a
happens.
quorum there and some newspaper person wants something. If you stay on topic and got the minutes, you're usually okay.
Got it. Perfect. Thanks, appreciate it. Great point, Glenn. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, moving on. Comments by the administration. Mike, please, come on up. Oh.
Just give a little 30-day rundown. How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
So between the 2nd of May and the 6th of June, we had 103 incidents, 31 fire inspections, that also includes re-inspections. 54 hours of truck equipment checks. Just so everybody's clear on that, that always takes place actually beginning of a shift. The oncoming shift, we have 3 shifts A, B, C. So the first day in, they do truck checks and all that. 124-hour training events, 124 training events, excuse me, totaling 237 hours, continued training hours. That's all the personnel as a whole. All the apparatus had the annual service completed. We still have a few things we gotta do with the ladder. That's a whole other separate piece. The aerial portion has to be maintenance every year. That's greasy, checking on the pulleys and cables. Our rush truck 1671, the fuel gauge has been off for quite some time on that. So we had to have that replaced. That was done yesterday. We had it off the fuel tank, and the fuel is in that fuel tank, I changed that. I think I mentioned, last go around that we had 5 personnel that actually completed the driver board class in Rolla, that they hosted the City Rolla Fire. And, now, they passed the driving portion, so now it's on schedule to take the written test. You got BSX certified in Missouri Division of Fire Safety. So they're all getting those scheduled in now. I think 3 out of 5 got it scheduled. I think what is it, about 2 weeks, Jordan? Yeah, 2 weeks on that, and the other 2 are finishing up another class and they're gonna schedule their testing. So, other than that, all's going pretty well.
Perfect. I'll start off with the first question. Fire hydrant flushing. I know we talked about that. Where are you at with that for the city?
We are close to having that done. We've probably got about another 2 weeks left on that, to get that flushing done. We had some setbacks, pull off the calls, stuff of that nature. So I think we got about 2 weeks left, and we should be able to wrap that up on.
Okay, awesome.
Got a little behind on that.
That's okay. Call it happens. So, questions from the city council member for Mike?
One question.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Go ahead.
No, please, sir.
Fire hydrants for the Sawmill Ridge Division. What's the status of that?
Really no status. The problem there is that it's owned by the Pulaski County Water District number 2. So, there's no control over that. And the other problem is, if we could get them to put hydrants in there, which would be phenomenal, but the other problem is you have a 6-inch main coming off the Y highway leading to a 4. I believe that's right, isn't it, Steve?
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, me and you talked about this a lot over the years. I don't like that situation either. But it kind of is what it is unless we can, talk to the water district and, maybe get us to play ball. I don't like it either.
We have requested in the past, and they denied us.
Yeah.
How about Ridge Creek?
Now, well, Ridge Street, actually, I believe Steve's got all the material in for that, don't you?
Yes.
So I think that's getting ready to take place this summer.
From what I understand, our engineers will finish up design sometime this summer and then put it out for bid. Anita probably knows more about that than I do.
I got one follow-up for Steve.
Hold on, Anita, do you have anything to add to that?
I believe the target is to start in 2026, isn't it, Steve?
I thought it was fall or fall of this year is what I thought. I don't know.
It's moving in the right direction.
Yes, it's moving, it just,
Mr. Anita, do they have a site for the water?
Yes, y'all purchased it several months ago, that lot. What, was it on Lavender?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Yeah.
It's on Latin. All right. Thanks, man.
No, great question. Glenn, please.
Have we talked to this county water, these crazy people?
Yeah, like I said, he said, I think multiple times.
George did when he was mayor,
So
and
he
I know
did make an
Mayor
offer.
Sanders did too
Yeah.
when he was mayor, and I know we sent letters
Sure.
in years after that.
And they're just not gonna budge, are they?
The problem, they pushed back, when George talked to them, they pushed back on it. So,
So we gonna make them another attempt to try to.
We can always make it another attempt. Yeah, absolutely. Glenn.
On your 103 incidents, Chief, real quick, if you can, maybe have in your head, I didn't see it right, but maybe you can answer. How many mutual aid calls did you have during that time?
I actually have it printed off at the station. I can report it, basically everything down we've done from fire alarms to to our burn permits that we actually go and verify this, everything like that, but I'm really sure they're.
I'll stop by and look at it, just for curiosity, just so we know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not saying you're not doing a good job or police, I'm just.
No, it's broke down. Yeah, we pull a report, it breaks down every type of call we do, our response master reporting system.
Well, Mike, would it be easier if you emailed it to me and I send it out to all the.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Because the public does ask.
Yeah, we can do that, we can put that in there.
I want to ask a quick question on the right that you said. Yeah. Where does it play as far as the safety of the citizens concerned?
Of the hydrants you're saying?
Yes.
Well, the issue you're gonna have, and the county fire departments have this, neighboring departments have this, ourselves. The original tanker was purchased, I believe, back in 2001 for St. Martin because of sawmill areas. So what you get is you get tanker support on what's called a first alarm structure fire package. In our first alarm, you've got our tanker rolling right off the bat. Fort Leonard Wood rolls theirs as well, their engine, and Waynesville rolls their engine as well as a tanker on that. So you're getting essentially you get about 8,000 gallons of water right off the bat with the tankers. And of course, about another 1,000 apiece for the pumpers. So you're going to get about 12,000 right off the bat. Fortunately, where you are at the caveat, you're not too far off the beaten path, so that helps. In my 36 years of doing this, I have put 3 house fires out down that neighborhood.
With a good response time.
So good response time. One of them was too far gone, that couldn't be helped. But, yes.
That was one of those.
Yep. So that's where tanker shuttle implementation comes into place. That means tankers coming out there, hauling water, going back to their site, which for that area, we always fill up at Paul's Furniture. That's a good falling hydrant right there. So, but perfect world hydrants, absolutely, that would be the best case scenario, because I don't want to say endless, because you didn't burn through too much. You have to give the fire flow for the size of structure, how much CPM you're supposed to have to put out a fully involved 3,200 square foot home. We do pretty good, but could it be better? Sure, I'd love to see hydrants down there.
Any other questions? Thanks, Mike, appreciate it for the update. Don, please. How are you?
Good news is our antivirus and monitoring software has been installed in the city. With bad news, I got an email from Sonicwall. That's who provides our firewall for everything coming in and going out of the city. They are ELO, which means end of life, which means they're no longer going to be supporting them, and the firmware updates. So I did put it in budget for last year, but we were on a spending freeze, so I couldn't buy it last year, so hopefully it carried over to this year. The other bad news, you all got to love Microsoft. October of this year, they're going to stop support for Windows 10. What that means is, because we have a police department, they run deals, every computer in the city is going to have to be upgraded to Windows 11. Some of these computers are not able to be upgraded to Windows 11. So that was not a budget item that I put in my budget, was for new computers. So hopefully most of them will upgrade, but the ones that don't, we're going to have to buy.
All right, we'll definitely have to dive into that. Nita, you want to add that?
Yes, sir, I got it on there.
Do we know approximately, just off the top of your head, since you're the IT guy, of how many computers you think is going to have to be replaced, if not all?
Not all of them will. Thankfully, the front part up here, they're already on Windows 11. Most of the people in the back here are on Windows 11. The ones I'm worried about are the ones at the fire department and the police department. Those are the older computers that we have in the city.
Which they really kind of have updated with.
Because I'm on like a 3-year rotation. Every 3 years I try to refresh all the computers in the city.
And how old are the ones that are in there now? Are they over 3 years old? The
ones in the
old
police
ones,
department
and the fire department, you said?
No.
Don, just get all your stuff, lay it out, get it to Anita, we'll get it to the Wage and Finance Committee, we'll try to find some funds, we gotta get that done, so obviously that's important, so. Okay, anything else, Don?
No.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, appreciate it. Travis, are you updating for Charles? Because if not, I have Charles's note that he sent me.
No, I was not planning on it.
Yeah. Okay, you do yours and then I'll update from Charles's notes he sent me.
So youth sports, we finished spring soccer on the 20th of May. We actually doing our new, doing the refs the way we did it. We ended up spending on our budget for refs by about a quarter, so that was good news for us. From there, T-ball and baseball, our baseball teams have already started down in Lebanon, doing good things down there. And then flag football, we're doing the coach meeting tomorrow night, and then we will start next Monday, or this coming up Monday, with flag football first practices.
Awesome, thanks Travis, appreciate it. Just a quick update from Charles in regards to the pool. I know it's not his week to brief, but he sent it to me, so I figured I'd share it with everybody. You know, obviously this weekend was the first weekend they were open, and they had over 800 people come through the gates at Tiger Typhoon and sold over 40 family passes alone. They took in over $2,000 at the concession stand as well. Yesterday was busier than both Saturday and Sunday. Monday, the admissions that they took in over $4,200 in sales and passes sold. So they're doing a great job out there. The lifeguards, he wanted me to personally recognize head lifeguard Madison Cox for her calmness and professionalism while they were dealing with the incident. So he has a great group of life and rec aides, so I'm just very proud of him. So anyway, that's the update from Charles. Fred, any updates on finance, please?
Well, I guess I have the sales tax numbers in. Your general sales tax for the month of April is up 2%. Your capital improvements is up 2%. Your public mass transportation is up 2%. Park sales is up 2%. So we're up 2%. Our sales tax numbers coming in is up 2%.
For the month of April.
For the month of April. I'll have May's information the end of this week, first part of next week as far as sales tax goes.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having that information and briefing us on where we at. That way we can, you know, especially kind of gauge if we need to, if there's any issues. So appreciate that. Any questions for Fred? All right, real quick, before I go into my closing comments, because we don't have anything for close, correct, Anita?
Correct.
All right, perfect. Anything from the head table? Mark, anything to update?
Fort Leonard Wood sanitation has been going a month. Been doing a great job out there. Nothing but compliments is what I'm hearing from Fort Wood. They really like the professionalism, getting things done that they've been doing there. Just to kind of reiterate on Charles, one of the things we added at the pool this year was a second cash register. So now all the rec aides are able to ring up items. It helps us with the inventory. It helps us with sales, that type of thing. Up to the minute, I know right now we sold $17,000 worth of goods down there. I'm going to tell you that we've sold 75 hot dogs. So that way it helps with inventory, it helps with stock, it helps with knowing what our orders are. So stepping in that direction has really helped out the pool for planning. And at the end of the season, we'll be able to look at our numbers and know exactly which direction to go for next year's planning. So thank you guys for doing that.
Appreciate it. Yep. Anything else, Fred, on top of the sales tax stuff?
Just know that we had a pretty interesting group of co-workers in here last week learning the new purchasing program, requisition program for the new software. It was interesting, to say the least, but we're getting there. The one good thing about it is where it has the authorizations, approvals, so the department heads have a limit so much. After that, then it has to go to Anita for approval. So it's all set up in there automatically, which is, you know, we had an interesting group of people in here learning this.
Good, awesome. Glad it was successful. Thanks. Yes, Glenn.
I just have a question.
Go ahead.
If I may. Two things. The RV park, how's that going? Are we full? We got empty slots?
We have a few empty slots right now.
Are those reserved, do we know?
A lot of them were some of the monthly people that's moved out. We have intermittent rentals in there, so it's hard to get monthly people back in there because it's a rental here and there's a conflict. So with us opening the pool, we've kind of stepped back from moving people around and playing the shell game to open up some monthly just because of the lack of time. So once that assistant position is filled down at the pool, then we'll be able to look at that and fill up those spots a little bit more.
And you did say that some of these folks that use that baseball field for soccer practice, we do charge them?
Yes. Marinantha is one of the groups that uses that field quite a bit. They use it for baseball practice as well as soccer practice. They do pay the $10 fee. So it's just something we're going to have to look at. But I know also, we just got the field worked on by Willard and Steve's department. They worked on the field, got it nice. The first weekend after that, it rained on it without the gates, and they tracked mud all over the field, and we had to redo it. And so that's what we're trying to avoid, is we're trying to keep, we've waited a long time to get that field where we want to. We want people to use it, but we also want people to take care of it. So just getting that ironed out on how to open it for people to use it, who's renting it, all those types of things we'll have to address, so.
And is that field ever gonna be used, Travis? Maybe you can answer this, or you. Are we ever gonna use that field for youth baseball, or is it just gonna be sitting there to be rented out only?
I'm looking at
Because we
doing
put a lot of money into
T-ball down
defense.
there. We had field 2 down in Waynesville. It still hasn't been worked on yet. So we were, there were some issues. We were hoping to get it done like the St. Robert one. But I'm looking at moving that T-ball and all the games for that field up here to St. Robert.
Okay.
And I know in the past, the lights were already approved, having them installed was, we're not there yet. Once those lights are installed, then we'll be able to use that a little bit more, but right now it's only until about 8 o'clock, you know what I'm saying, because the sun goes down, so using it for youth sports is one thing. One of the other concerns about youth sports, and Travis can attest to this, is families have multiple kids in sports at the time, so one of them might be in Waynesville, and it's hard to have the other one in St. Robert when one parent's trying to run to practices and stuff, so it's just a scheduling thing we gotta look at, and, but no, our plan is to use that field more.
Okay, great, thanks. Dana?
We're in the process of trying to schedule a mid-year review with BPJ for our benefits to kind of see where we're at mid-year. I believe that's going to be scheduled in the next week or two. We're trying to get together with a date that works with everybody. All the seasonal employees have been onboarded and they're working down at the pool, doing a great job. So that's kind of a hurdle this time of year to get them on. And I am assisting PD with their MOX audit for the background checks. So that goes on.
Awesome. Please add to the agenda for that, for the B&G thing. Remember, we discussed about the benefits for the spouse. We were gonna talk about, do we take it away, do we keep it the way it is? We never really had the committee dive deep into figuring out what we want to do in the long term. And now is the time to do that, so we can let them know 6 months out, hey, you need to go find your own stuff, which they probably won't anyway, they can find better stuff. But we need to have that further discussion from before. So if you could add that to the agenda, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dana. Anita?
Every 2 years, we have a bond rating review. Standards and Poor is our bond rating company. Next week, we go through the review. It'll last a couple of hours. Ed McCliney from McCliney and Company will be on the call with me and Fred. And hopefully we'll be able to keep our rating that we have now. Do what?
Or get it raised.
Or, yeah. We've just been busy trying to get the program started and going again, different ideas. We had the Business of the Month last week, which hasn't been announced yet.
I was gonna get ready to do that.
Okay, and just been working on stuff like that.
Okay, great. Thanks, Anita. All right, I'm going to be very quick for the sake of time. First off, I do want to thank all those who attended the Memorial Day ceremony on the 26th. It was a beautiful ceremony to honor our service members who are no longer with us. There are so many to thank for the success of the ceremony, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank Stacy and her team for an amazing ceremony. Even though it was only 20 minutes long, it was definitely amazing, right, Walter? Yeah. Our June business spotlight of the month, this month, is Grammy J's Glass Etching LLC, which is located at 216 Old Route 66. This past few days ago, we went there and honored her and gave her banner, took a photo, which I will get that published on social media. But they've been serving our community since 2022, specializing in custom sandblasting, etching on glass, metal, and ceramic items. Their commitment to craftsmen and quality makes them a standout local business, and it was great to chat with them. So thanks to all those who came out. Not going to talk about that. We've already hit that. We've already done that. Again, want to reiterate Community Partnership Award Recognition Ceremony, Friday, June 13th, 9:30 at Lincoln Hall Auditorium. This is where Fort Leonard Wood is going to recognize us for the partnerships between Waynesville and St. Robert. It's open to the public, and they're going to do a birthday cake cutting right after that. So if you want free cake, come on out. We allow Marines too. I got to take advantage of it while I can. Before you know it, it'll be the Marine birthday. Juneteenth holiday, city offices are going to be closed, correct? So we'll make sure we get that announced to the city that all city offices will be closed on that day. Lastly, I just want to let everybody know that CASA, the court-appointed special advocate of South Central Missouri, has moved into their new home right here in the Municipal Center in Suite 103. Their mission for Pulaski County is to provide trained, qualified court-appointed volunteers to give abused and neglected children a voice in court and advocate for their best interest. So if you see them, the door's open, swing in, welcome our new neighbors to the Municipal Center. And that is all I have, and I know I talk fast, but I wanted to get that out there. So, all right, anything else? Alibis? Next meeting, thank you very much. Next meeting, the regular Board of Aldermen meeting will be June 17th at 2025 at 5 p.m. Can I get a vote to adjourn the meeting?
Wait just a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
We mentioned it last time, the clock is still not working.
It's 6:23.
Make note of that, then I'm fixing that clock tonight. Linda said so, so be it. Motion by Charles, seconded by Michael. Clarification, discussion, call the roll.
Glenn?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Reggie?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Yes.
Tyson?